Oh my god, we're almost matching.
We are almost matching.
You hate that. Ooh.
Got another flyaway over here. Believe that happened last week too.
Look at mine though.
And by last week, I mean last episode.
Look at
It's
all
only
my.
been a couple of days.
Look at all my flyaways. My whole head's a bunch of flyaways. You don't get all the frizzies that I get.
Not quite. I don't really have hair. You know?
My hair's been all frizz lately with the heat.
My hair's been all receding.
with the heat.
The age. Look at that. That is so bad. This
episode is sponsored by
Hims. This is like an intro every, I don't know how often.
Yes.
I make a comment about how my hair looks like dog shit.
That's true. You do that a lot.
Just shave it all.
No. Unless you want to.
I don't think I have good head shape for bald.
You don't think so?
No.
I don't know. You never know.
All right. Well, let's get this going, I guess. Soup. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to SMSoup, the #1 podcast with soup in the name, but not on the brain. I am Spencer.
And I'm Shelby.
And together we're here to take you on a journey through life's biggest questions, like, waiter, is that bowl of soup big enough for our cat Grogu to sit in?
Is it? Boy loves a bowl.
Boy loves a bowl. He's just like his parents.
Loves a bowl.
Just like his parents.
Truly. We
Shelby,
raise him well.
how are you?
I'm good. Just I want to spend every minute outside
Cracking.
because it's nice out.
It is nice out.
So nice out. It's like I want to go lay in the grass nice out.
Yesterday we spent
So much time outside.
5 hours
Of just sitting outside.
of just sitting outside.
Yeah.
It was hot.
It was very hot. It was like,
very hot.
it was a little verging on, I need to find shade because I might feel a little unwell soon.
But we powered through.
We did.
And slept great.
Truly.
Really.
It's almost like we're supposed to kind of like really be outside a lot. And then our body's like, oh, isn't it so good to sleep nice?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that is. Never thought about it like that.
How to equal out your sleeping habits?
Yeah, wow. Never really thought about it like that.
Spencer's bored of this conversation already.
I sleep fine regardless.
That's true. Brag about it.
Okay. For the past, how old am I? 28? 28 years of my life.
Uh-huh.
Never had a problem sleeping.
Wow, that's crazy. That's also very rude.
I have a problem staying asleep. That's a different thing.
That's true. Yeah, yesterday we went to a Ren Fair event. We didn't go to a Ren Fair, but a Ren Fair inspired event.
No baddies.
Really?
A few baddies.
I was like, that's kind of
Not
rude.
nearly enough for... You said that's kind of rude?
Yeah. I was like, none, really?
Oh.
That's crazy. It was fun. It was very hot.
It wasn't meant to be rude, to be clear.
I know. You're like, I respect everyone who's here.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking.
Of course. But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well, that's why it wasn't a true Ren Fair event.
Right.
And it was really funny. When you hear there's going to be a Ren Fair themed event, which they're bringing in performers. It's not like it's just like, oh, I don't know. It was like quite the extra step of like being an abridged Renaissance fair. Deciding the level of dress to do was very funny because you're like, you're like, am I going to be the only person who dresses up?
Yeah.
Do I dress up at all?
Yeah, there was definitely...
Because then am I going to be the only one who's not dressed up?
There was definitely real potential for that.
Because it's not an actual Ren Fair, which we talked about it. Actual Ren Fair. You should at least put in some effort.
Mm-hmm.
Or, honestly, why are you going? So this was a bit of a toss-up. And wow, I was so happily impressed to the level at which people did dress up.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like 86 degrees yesterday and blazing sun.
Mm-hmm.
Which I know they're used to it, but the poor performers with their heavy ass dresses
Yeah.
and so many layers and in the blazing sun. It was great. It was a blast. We love a theme. Spencer loves a theme. But it was a lot of fun.
It was fun.
It was extra fun because I was like, I think I'm going to go for a pirate today. And you said, are pirates Renaissance? And I said, oh, silly Spencer. The only people who look Renaissance are the performers because no one actually wants to dress like the Renaissance period. Too hot, too stuffy. It's just an excuse to get into a little fantasy world more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I barely even looked like a pirate compared to a lot of people who were there as pirates. I do think I need a really cool hat. I think that will sell it.
Yeah.
What'd you go as yesterday, Spencer?
Generic man attending a Ren fair.
You didn't wear a sports shirt.
True. True.
No, but that was a lot of fun.
I did not dress up. Because it didn't feel like
No, that's fair.
you should, you know?
It didn't feel like you had
It was
to.
like
It didn't feel like
you
you had
can.
to. Yeah.
Whereas, like you were saying, when you go to the actual, when you go to an actual Ren fair,
Mm-hmm.
where you're paying tickets
Mhm.
to go in and,
You're kind of entering a whole world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And everything changes. And
Yeah.
it's like, there's a lot, right?
Yeah.
Of stuff, not just.
You're not just in a parking lot.
Right. Then it's like, I feel like you're paying the money to be there.
I know. I agree.
Put a little effort in.
I agree. Anyway, Spencer, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm really tired.
Oh
Haven't
my
been
God.
sleeping well.
What? Spencer, today I wanted to ask a general question.
Okay. And I'm going to provide a general answer.
Perfect. This was sparked from a conversation we had with a friend. Very small conversation, but they basically were like, "Oh my God, I spend too much time online. I Shelby spend too much time online." Some things I'd say are positive about that. A lot of things are negative about that. But one benefit is I would say I always have a pretty good grasp about what's going on, like local event wise. To be very clear, I am very connected to like local event groups, and I tend to know events that are happening. So I'm always like, oh guys, this is happening, let's do this, what do we think of this? And I'm always forwarding all the information because I see it a lot. And basically our one friend was like, God, they're like, you always know what's going on, you always know about these groups, I need to get online more. And we were like, no, don't do it, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Please stay in your happy little bubble, you don't need it. So this is a bit of a more expansive question than just like in the sense of local events, which is how, again, I tend to utilize social media. I kind of had the question of, in the year of 2025, is it morally irresponsible to remove yourself from social media? And I'm kind of thinking about this in the sense of like, oh, we're more connected than we've ever been before. And I'm truly thinking of this from the mindset of like, we both have social media. We both are on social media quite a lot. And we would both, I'm assuming, say that's how we kind of know what's going on locally, globally, et cetera, for good or bad. That's kind of how we know what's going on. And to just make the decision one day, which I respect the hell out of people who do this, to say, you know what? This is too much for me. I'm completely deleting the apps, maybe completely deleting my account. To choose to completely remove yourself. Is that, again, maybe morally irresponsible is not the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
But that's where I'm kind of trying to drive this. Is there sort of a moral obligation? Is there a global obligation to stay on social media?
It's actually a really tough question.
I know.
What I will say is, I'm going to say yes.
There is a moral obligation.
I think that we all have an obligation to ourselves.
Yes.
And others.
Yes.
Actually, to utilize social media. The problem is we don't utilize it in the way that we should. Like, we don't get the most out of it.
Sure.
The beautiful thing about social media is that it has managed to give everybody a voice.
Mm-hmm.
The terrible thing about social media is that it has managed to give everybody a voice. Not everybody deserves.
It's managed to give everyone a voice, and it's taught people to gamify an algorithm.
Yes. Not everybody.
There's an extra level there.
Not everybody. Not everybody should have a voice. Not everybody's voice should be equal.
Yeah.
In certain settings.
Sure, 100%.
This isn't like certain people don't deserve freedom of speech or freedom of expression and stuff like that, because everybody does deserve that. But we collectively, the global we,
the royal
we, the entire internet sphere.
Yeah.
We give too much power to things by giving it our eyes in the first place.
Sure.
Social media algorithms are they intend to do one of two things, one of two extremes. They intend to either make you feel nice and safe and protected in your echo chamber, and then they will show you something that is completely antithetical to whatever
your norm is. Yeah.
Because that will outrage you.
Exactly.
And so it aims to do one of two things. It aims to give you the full-blown 100% positive, which is exactly what you crave.
Mm-hmm.
And then it will immediately hit you with the negative 100% negative.
Because they're hoping you engage with both. They're hoping that you are liking, resharing, commenting. Oh my God, yes, I love this. This is me. And then the opposite, they're hoping you are,
trying to dunk
disliking, commenting to hate it. Because both of those are good in the algorithm.
This isn't necessarily one or the other, but we also give too much time and energy and power to just shit that we all collectively don't like.
Yeah.
And the main thing I can think of recently is the stupid the guy who he posted his morning routine.
Yeah.
And then everybody's making their own version of it where they're trying to dunk on this guy. And it's you're boosting him.
Yeah.
You're it's the time old thing of a perfect example right now is the stupid fucking Minecraft movie.
Mm-hmm.
If you think the Minecraft movie is dumb, don't go watch it ironically.
Yeah.
Because if you go and watch it ironically, if you go and you interact with it ironically, you are interacting with it.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, that is the only number that matters.
Yeah.
It does not matter beyond that.
Yeah.
And then we will continue to if you're this is slop, we'll continue to get slop.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to go the route of the money. It worked when we got Sony to bring Morbius back to theaters because we made them think that there was a snowball's chance in hell that people were actually then going to go see it. They brought it back to theaters and it probably cost them millions upon millions of dollars because then nobody still went and saw it. We made jokes about it and then we all collectively said, but we're not going to go watch it. And
yeah.
But that was proof, right? That was proof right there that they saw it in the numbers that we can make a fuck ton of money off of this. So if you think the Minecraft movie looks like dumb, stupid slop, don't go and watch it because you're going to get another movie like that. We're going to keep getting movies like that.
Right.
That's the way that things will go because it's well, I would rather make a shitball movie and have 100 million people hate watch it than make the perfect art house film that 50 people watch.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
No,
please.
go ahead.
No, please.
So all I was gonna say is I kind of went away from it, but
you're good. You're fine.
Going back
There's
to
multiple
the
ways
original
of
question
looking at this,
of
yeah.
social media remains one of the best ways to keep up with current events.
Yeah.
And obviously, you still have to do your due diligence. You can't just take everything at face value. But when you originally asked the question, my first thought was, no, you don't have to stay on social media. And like, that still might be the right answer. But I would challenge somebody to show me an easier way to keep up with current events.
Oh, 100%.
Because you could just say, like, we'll just turn on the news. But the news is going to have inherent bias depending on which program you're watching. And like, you can't convince me that you're going to take the time to watch the 6 o'clock news on Fox. Then you're going to try and watch that same segment of news, but on ABC and then CNN. And then like, you're not.
Right.
But social media allows you to, like, in much more real time, source and get all of those different,
and possibly be exposed to a variety of viewpoints,
at a
personal accounts,
and a much faster and like more digestible, hopefully rate. I mean, there's still plenty of stuff, and online obviously still has its own inherent biases.
Oh my god, yeah.
But you can sift through those, and like, again, you can get the different accounts much quicker via social media. So that's the only reason why I would say that. And like, you can get independent news sources and stuff like that, but like, no matter what,
but even
nobody
for them,
is truly
right
independent. Nobody is truly, like, there's always going to be slight.
And the other benefit of social media is, like, say you like are prioritizing independent sources, like, their best way of reaching people is online. Like,
Right.
They don't have the money and connections and like power to like get TV slots, to get like to fucking pay for paper anything,
Right.
to like, like, that is the best. Which again, like, plenty of those things offer, obviously email newsletters. Like, you don't have to just use social media, but social media is the easiest way for them because it literally costs them nothing unless they choose to pay for ads or
Right.
whatever.
Boost.
It literally costs them nothing to put their information out there because that is inherently one of the best things about the internet.
Yeah.
And so it is, even if like you want to sit here, like, obviously a lot of that comes down to how you curate the information, how you react to the information you're given, how you curate the feeds you're presented, things like that, which again, good and bad to everything I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's so, and that's like a whole nother, like, really difficult thing to try and act like it's the easiest thing in the world to just create a Twitter account.
Right. Right.
and figure out, like, you're going to get fucking Elon Musk shoved down your throat because
Right.
he boosts his own shit.
Right.
To the point that, like, yeah, you block him and, you try to, but you're going to, I mean, Twitter leans much more right wing now. And given the current state of affairs, it's like become a cesspool for those things. And it takes like a good bit of work to like try and weed that stuff out if you don't want to interact with those things,
Right.
like obvious, like race bait and stuff like that.
Right.
I mean, like, social media, like, for all the good that it can provide, is still just like one of the most toxic and terrible things like to exist.
Yeah.
So it's really, like, again, it is a really tough question because in the case of like our friend, it's like, don't.
Yeah, don't.
Like, don't. And
Yeah.
if you like, if your mental health isn't in the best place and everything like that, don't.
Yeah. Oh, literally.
Don't get on social
I think
media.
the real answer is I love it for the connectivity of it. I think
But that's gone.
the global connectivity of it,
Yeah.
like information sharing,
Right.
to a
But
degree,
that's
for
like-
sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was a sweet spot.
Yeah.
There was a sweet spot when Google
Right.
search engine worked, you know?
Right.
And like, there was a sweet spot. I mean, the global connectivity point of it, like being able to like interact with people from Italy and Greece and Saudi Arabia, right? Like, you can interact with anybody at any point. I mean, that's out the fucking window.
Right.
If you go into any comment section, it's bots.
Yeah.
100%. You
Yeah.
can't convince me that this is actual people talking. And it's, to your point, you gamify an algorithm. So if Twitter does payouts. I don't know if Instagram does. Does Instagram pay you if you are like a verified user and
Not that I'm aware of.
get enough
TikTok does
engagement.
that, but I don't think, to my knowledge, Instagram does not do that.
So you get like, and so the top comments in
Yes.
every single thread are just like, "Wow, looks yummy," and it's
Yeah,
like, this is
yeah.
a video of a hippo. What are you talking about? That thing's gonna eat you. You look yummy. What are you talking about?
Yeah. I feel like, and this is so much easier said than done, it's like learning how to it's literally just like learning how to not let it become a overwhelming habit. Like that's literally it.
Yeah.
Like I mean, whether it means not being on it for maybe 2 weeks, a month, like whatever you need to like purge your system of that being a gut reaction. I almost picture it as like movie, I don't know this firsthand, but like movies, it's like, oh, morning, you always see the father reading the paper, and it's like, not that I'm saying start your day with this, but like maybe it's like, you're eating breakfast, you've been awake for a little bit, and you give yourself 30 minutes to be like, what's going on right now? And then it gets shut off for the day. Like, I don't know. I think like, which I know so many people say shit like this. Like, I'm not reinventing a wheel by any means, but it literally is just like having some boundary with it, because otherwise, yeah, it's like, it's just, there's so much shit on it. I mean, I love it for creative purposes, but also sometimes I absolutely hate it for creative purposes. Like, I'm being fed so much bullshit just because humans are trying their best to like achieve something, and they're being told I just need to be nonstop in order to achieve this. And so they're just putting literal dog shit out.
And look at us right now.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I am a person who will throw anything at a wall and see if it works. And like, I don't have the capacity for the amount of shit that just gets put out there. And it's exhausting. Like there are absolutely days where I'm like, I can't even like hear another person's like thought on anything right now, because whether serious or not serious, I can't think about it. But I also, it is the way that I like am hearing people's like thoughts, feelings, reactions, what's going on, how are we like responding to this as like a collective, or like what are actionable steps to achieve this outcome we all want, or like it is also how I see that information. Mm-hmm. It is how like I am knowing things locally and globally. Like it like it's both those at the same time. And sometimes it's the worst thing in the world because I literally want to delete everything. But it's also like, not to say like, well, then what would I do? Because I would do plenty of other shit. Yeah. But like, I'm not going to fucking turn to, ABC. Like, I'm not going to turn to all of the sources that our parents use and everything like that. And, I've tried to like, I'll say diversify the way I receive information. Like I have quite a few email newsletters that come to me from various sources about various topics. I'm a big fan. I talked about this like a month ago. Big fan of Substack, which has its own level of obviously inherent biases. Like it's a bunch of creatives and writers and stuff, kind of like whether from journalistic points of view or just I like writing about my hiking trips this weekend. Like it's a bit of everything, and those can come to you in an email newsletter.
Probably woke bullshit.
Oh, definitely. Those can come to you in an email newsletter. They have their own app interface. They have a really nice, online platform if that's of interest. Like, I think as dumb as it is, because I hate the answer being like, oh, just have a little bit of something everywhere, because that adds to the exhaustion and overwhelm. Mm-hmm. I think it is a little bit of like, know what you get out of certain things and know when it's time to take a break.
Yeah.
But like, again, like, I don't think this is kind of a stretch where my brain's going with this, but it really is like, again, even though social media is an annoying algorithm at this point and we're being fed who knows what, like, in what other way do you learn like such a personal account for like things that are going on? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you
like you can't. Don't. Like, and like, we're not reading to the rate people used to read. And normally that would be where you get that shit, whether fiction or nonfiction. That would be where you got that, like, true personal account, true personal, like, reaction to something that you might not inherently understand or be experiencing. We're not doing that anymore, like, to the rate we used to do it. And so it's like, where else are where else are we exposing ourselves to that? And most of us, rightfully so, are very much in our bubbles, both just friend group wise, family wise, like, you know, like, and again, that is very normal. That's not necessarily like an evil reaction to something. It's just like happens, and we end up in these patterns that we're like not thinking about. And it's like you will never be exposed to this shit unless you're kind of just like sometimes putting yourself just out there and seeing what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe also like start reading, but
No.
But yeah, do I think, again, I'm taking this very much from the standpoint of like people who are currently on it and are like, this is too much. Obviously, very much the answer is I hear you and you're right. Probably take a break, like a good break. Like, don't blame someone if they're like, for 6 months, I'm not coming on here.
Yeah, I also feel like there are ways to, like, I mean, I've started, again, like with Twitter, I don't post anymore because you're posting to the void. Like, unless you already have something built,
right?
Like, it's just such an uphill battle. It's just not worth it. But the way I interact with Twitter anymore, for the most part, is I just don't go into the comments.
So fair.
I literally the most interaction I will have is like with the surface level post.
Yeah.
And then like the thing that it's reposting or something like that.
Yep.
A thing that I think is potentially like you were saying about Substack, I think something that's kind of in that similar vein is Reddit.
Yeah.
Because Reddit is, you know, like the things that are deemed most important by the public are the things that are going to get boosted to the top. Because
you quite literally have to like upvote, right?
Exactly.
Like it's not, to my knowledge, like an algorithm going like, I mean, that is inherently like you're telling it that you want it, but.
And like for the most part with Reddit, like I've like never seen, I feel like Reddit does a fairly good job of keeping things like in check.
Yeah.
You know? If like if it starts to get too far off topic, like the moderators will clean it up.
Bring it
like
back.
It does a pretty good job of that. So
I mean, as someone who does love to read very dramatic video game Reddit thoughts, I do feel like I've never read anything that insane, like very dramatic wording, but not like.
Well, like the reason I say that is because like if it's a post that delves more into like politics, obviously politics are super polarizing right now, and you know. If one side gets a little too extreme about things, it just gets shut down really fast.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if somebody's trying to
somehow tie in other things or start
like,
jumping like topics to prove a point in some other way. Yeah.
Exactly. It does a good job of I think, at least.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean,
I think also like this is definitely not a cop out by any means, but I think something that like maybe anxious people or very overwhelmed people need to remember is like you will never be the know-it-all of everything.
Yeah.
Like you can't, like, you physically can't. Like we can only focus on so many things as humans. And again, that's not a cop out to be like, I can't. But it's a bit of like have grace with yourself. Like if you're like can't, there are absolutely times you're like, I just can't. Like, I literally can't. Like, I have reached capacity. And that's like so fair because again, we certainly can't be experts on anything, let alone even like receive all the information of everything that's going on. So yeah, as people who are, I'll say probably more terminally online, I think that's a really good reminder that also you don't need to have a take on everything. Like, trust people who are actually experiencing it and know about it and
we should trust experts,
actually want to like be helpful in the situation.
We should trust people who like spend time and effort going to school and learning these things and have an understanding of
I'd say so
how things work. You think we should believe those people? You think they deserve at least a
let's
surface
try it.
level of
I think we
trust?
should try it.
Just a surface level
Yeah.
at least. I'm not saying you need to blindly follow everybody and
Right.
everything, but like,
But like at least hear him out.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Maybe.
Like, I'm going to trust Albert Pujols when it comes to giving me hitting tips.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe it's because he's like one of the greatest hitters of all time.
Right. I mean, but like, who's to say?
I'm not going to sit here and act like I know better than him because I played Little League. But some people.
Right.
Yeah, I read the WikiHow.
Dude, I
on
love
Swinging at Bat.
WikiHow.
I hate WikiHow.
I know, it's so uncomfortable. I think we could really do something with WikiHow. Like look up some really random ass shit.
Yeah, like how to
That should
kiss
be
your cousin or some shit.
What if we make our own WikiHow? What if we make our own, like, one of us poses the other a question and we have to break it down and we have to like present it? That can be kind of funny.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, anyway. So yeah. Short answer. I don't know. Not really, but also maybe. Did that answer the question?
Waiter.
Waiter, check please. Thank you all for being here. If obviously you have any expansive or not expansive thoughts or feelings, feel free to let us know. You can find SMSoup Podcast on all podcast streaming services, I think, plus YouTube at SMSoup Podcast. Our socials are in the description of the show. And until next week, stay brothy.